Hi everybody, I'm here to report on last night's friendly international at Hampden, where we unfortunately lost to the mighty Northern Ireland by 1 goal to nil. But before I go into the nitty gritty of a terrible game, I must show you the match programme which I bought outside Hampden. I always buy a programme, but this takes the biscuit. This has to be the worst programme I've ever bought, never mind seen. Here it is. Yes, they decided to go with a cartoon of Super John McGinn, our caped hero. Apart from the fact that he's not either of these things, I would call him from now on Super Damp Squib because that's how he played, like a damp squib. He was just as bad as the rest of them. So I should have been forewarned when I saw that programme that the game itself wasn't going to be much better. I've said in my title that we were defeated by an English Football League Select, and that's indeed what it was. The Northern Ireland team was full of players from, Bolton, Sunderland, Scunthorpe, whatever, Wigan. They even had a guy who started the game who plays for Stevenage, the mighty Stevenage. And one of the other guys was a former St Johnstone player, Ali McCann. So that's the standard, championship players playing against a team which I think we started with 7 top Premiership players in it. Not that they were any good. The wee Diddy team showed more aggression, more spirit, even more organisation than we did throughout the whole game. So an absolute disaster of a friendly. Apparently it's the first time we've lost to Northern Ireland at Hampden in 50 years. Now I've been going there 60 years and I can't remember that game, but I'm sure the Northern Ireland team in those days wasn't filled with players from lower English league teams. It'd be guys who were playing in the top division in England at the time. So anyhow, that's the basic outline of what a pathetic effort it was from our guys. When you think about it, they had one guy near a Premiership team, and that was the guy who scored the goal, who's a Liverpool youngster, a reserve player. I think he has actually played a game or two for the top team. So this guy is the nearest they had to a top player, a young Liverpool reserve guy, and he scored the goal, of course. So what's new? But anyhow, it was like Rangers playing against the wee Diddy teams at Ibrox. Like all of these teams, Northern Ireland played very defensively. Everybody back within 30 yards of their goal, apart from one guy who was left kind of up front, playing a low block, throwing themselves in front of everything, tackling as if their lives depended on it, fouling when necessary, 2 or 3 quite nasty fouls that caused 2 of our main players to go off injured eventually, especially Robertson. So they were playing like a cup final, whereas we were playing like it was a friendly, just a warm-up game for the real stuff to come, except you can't do that in international football, especially not against fellow British players. So anyhow, it was like that, us playing a wee Diddy team at Ibrox, and Scotland, they made all the same mistakes, too slow, pedestrian, too many sideways passes, passes back the way, passes between the back three and the defensive players, not enough forward passes, hardly any shots on target. Actually, 70% of the possession, and yet nothing to show for it at the end of the day. It was actually worse than that kind of Rangers performance that hopefully we've put behind us more or less now, because at least Rangers get 20 odd shots at goal and double figures on target. I don't know the exact figures for us, but I know we had a couple of early shots from 20 yards that went past the post, whereas a Dutch team, given that chance, would have put it in the net as they did last week. So, before I forget, I should apologise for my remarks after the Holland game on Friday, because I came away from that optimistic, feeling up, looking forward to the Euros, thinking we've got a team here. We gave them some problems. We can do the same in the Euros. After this display, forget it. If we can't raise a game above this, we really truly have had it. We'll go nowhere in the Euros. It'll be another embarrassment. When you think about it, though, the one bright sort of point might be that these three teams in our Euro group won't play defensively like Northern Ireland did. We won't have to try and overcome a low block. They'll come at us. That itself has dangers for us with our defenders. So the three teams will come at us, but at least we'll get some space to hopefully hurt them in the Euros. But last night we hardly did anything like that. It really was a pathetic performance. None of our big stars turned up. You know, McGinn, McTominay, Robertson, who else? Big Donkey. Up front, what's his name? The big striker, Dykes. He was anonymous. If he starts our games in the Euros, will be a total embarrassment. No other country will be starting with a big donkey like him up front. He's not a football player. He just puts himself about and tries to harass the defenders, and he didn't even do that last night, so he was a total disgrace. You've got to play somebody like Shankland who can actually score goals, even if he doesn't do very much out with that. You've got to have somebody who'll put it in the net. He came on with 10 minutes to go, and they actually had a half chance, two half chances. One where in a crowded 6-yard box, he managed to bring it down, swivel, shot at goal. Unfortunately, the defender, 4 feet away from him, he turned his back on it and it hit off his back and bounced away to safety. So that was unfortunate. Shanklin couldn't really do much else there. Another one, a cross could have bounced up and he met it at the same time as the goalkeeper and it just went over the bar. So he must get a chance in the Euros because at least he can score goals. Lyndon Dykes can't even score goals for QPR, never mind in the Euros. So that's one improvement we can make. Unfortunately, that was near enough for our best players out there last night. The only people missing would have been Cal McGregor, maybe Hickey, and that was it. That's what we've got to go with. So it's not looking good after what I said following the Holland game. I take it all back, unless that's just a ploy to lull our opponents in the Euros into a false sense of security, and it was all planned. I'm really quite depressed now because, as I say, we hardly had any shots on target, hardly any at goal, couldn't break down a team full of lower league players from England, and yet some people are still trying to look for positives. And one of the things that's annoyed me really was reading in the papers this morning, some journalist called Andy Robertson as he limped off inspirational captain. No, he's not. He's never been an inspiration. In fact, he's becoming the new Kenny Dalglish. For younger viewers, Kenny Dalglish had 100 plus caps for us, and he must have played 5 or 6 good games in all that time, in all these years, and yet he was a god at Liverpool. He was a star. He played brilliantly for them every week, and that seems to me like Andy Robertson. I can hardly remember a good game he's played for us, never mind an inspirational captain, and yet he's revered at Liverpool. So that's Kenny Dalglish Mark II, unfortunately. I wouldn't be too displeased if his injury puts him out of the actual Euros, because we've got Tierney there. Tierney wasn't brilliant in the first half, but that's because he was playing in a back three. As soon as Robertson went off, and in the second half Tierney played like a proper left back, you saw some of his qualities. He was going up the left wing, putting in good crosses, playing nice 1-2s with people up the left. So that's where he should be playing, not Robertson. And if you've got to play one of them, I'd play Tierney at left back, and that would mean you'd have another proper central defender in the back three, not a converted left back. So Tierney at least came good in the second half. None of the others did the same. It was an absolutely woeful display, pathetic result. When did Northern Ireland ever beat us, never mind at Hampden 50 years ago? So not looking as good as I thought it was. Let's hope, because we're up against 3 teams who will actually come at us in June, we'll play better, and we'll have likes of Callum McGregor there, maybe controlling the play better than Billy Gilmour did, who was passing it sideways and backwards most of the game. So sorry about a depressing report, but it was a miserable night at Hampden. I was freezing as well. I was moved from my normal seat